What's up, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And this one, let's talk about what's happening with Tesla in the market very, very briefly. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed 15 in total, not to mention 8.1% APY on uninvested cash. Anyways, I just wanted to say that as far as the market is going, there's not really much significant data coming out for tomorrow, at least in terms of our economic calendar, but we do have Nvidia's earnings, which could affect us. Now, in terms of Tesla's setups, I just want to say that there is something developing right over here. It's possible that we could be forming a large inverse head and shoulders already, where we didn't really get this dip back down to fill this gap, to get a bounce to form the right shoulder. It is possible this could be our right shoulder right here, and this could be a setup that could lead to more upside as we get closer to Nvidia's earnings. Now, it's not a guarantee, of course. If you look at this on a symmetrical basis, we are in a very similar range to where we were a couple of days ago. But there's no confirmation of a true breakout here unless we manage to hold above the 350 area, very close to 350. If we break that by tomorrow, we could be looking for a pump back up towards 362 plus, if not even higher than that. So there could be a potential breakout coming to Tesla if this setup ends up getting the break. Now, if we end up turning down, you're going to be looking at our main support at 330. This is going to be the most important support right now. We've been pretty much stuck between 330 and a little bit under 350 for the last 2 days. But if 330 were to fail, let's just say after Nvidia's earnings or even beforehand, if there's some kind of bad news hypothetically, then we come back down to fill this gap, and that would take us down to about 322. So I'm not saying it's happening. I'm saying that right now the setup is favoring upside a bit more because of a potential inverse head and shoulders. Not a guarantee, so just be careful in trying to play this. But if we get this break right here, there's this very, very big imbalance here. This would lead Tesla to trying to kind of like fill this. So this would take this chart to looking even more symmetrical. And then that's going to lead to a potential pump that could be coming. So it is possible Tesla gets a big pump over the next 1 to 2 days, but we have to wait for confirmation if we get a breakout. If we try to break the high of the day yesterday, if we get above the 350 area, I do think we're going to be pushing higher. So we'll see about that. All right. For other tickers out there, we also happen to have SPY. SPY is doing a good job at holding up. Got this big dip only to get bought back up on the 4-hour time frame. The main resistance is at 590.19. We're going to be seeing if we could hold 588.99 as our support. We're kind of stuck in the middle. If we break 590.19, we could be pushing higher to fill this gap, taking us all the way up to about 593. If we manage to break out above 590 and close above that, there is potential for us to try to push for the 592 to 593 area right before Nvidia's earnings, or maybe after Nvidia's earnings. So we'll have to see about that. The 4-hour does look a bit more bullish, but we have to see if we break this for confirmation. So we look bullish. We are favoring upside a bit more. If we break 590, it's going to be our confirmation of a bigger breakout. And we're going to be looking for the lower 590s very soon. But if we lose 588 or 589, that range right here, 588.99 to be more precise, if that level fails, we could return to about like 586.8 around that area before it tries to bounce. I do not favor that. I think this chart is favoring more upside. So we'll see if we get that breakout later on. As far as ES goes, ES is pushed all the way up to the 50 EMA around this 59.42 area. Our support is at 59.32. We're stuck in this range right over here. If we break this resistance, though, we could be pushing even higher, all the way back up towards the 59.62 area. And if we lose support right here around, uh, excuse me, 59.25, it is possible we make our way back down towards like the lower 5900 area, which I'm not really favoring. I think we have a big green bar here, and we're going to be watching to see if we get back above 5940, and I think that's going to be where we are going to end up closing very close to. So I think there's a good chance to try to push higher, but we have to see if we could break past 5942. Otherwise, I see us trying to hold around that range. Bitcoin is more bullish. We're going to be watching to see if we can try to break past 94,000 or not. I do see some more upside potential. So we'll see how things end up going, but 94,000 plus does have potential for Bitcoin. For Nvidia, we look more bullish. I also want to call out the gap fill we were talking about around that 147 area. We're very close. If not, we've already done it. Let me just double check if we already did it. Actually, we did fill the gap already. So very, very awesome stuff. It's very close to 147. Right here on the daily, we filled this gap on Nvidia and it still looks bullish. So if we hold above 147, I think that we could be on our way closer to about the 150 area by tomorrow. Of course, this is going to depend on earnings, so it's not a guarantee, but that's like what we could see from a technical basis. And if we end up losing support here at 145, we're looking for a dip back down to 141. So far, we look more bullish and we're favoring the higher 140s. So just keep that in mind. For NQ and QQQ, NQ is looking a bit more bullish. We got to try to hold above 20,697. As long as we're above that, this is favoring more upside. Could be on our way for about the 20,875 area. If we lose that support, we could dip down, but this is still favoring upside for now. For QQQ, we look more bullish. We do have this gap to fill up here. So if we continue to push and hold above 503 by tomorrow, if not by after NVIDIA's earnings, this will most likely fill the gap above. I'm not going to promise that about NVIDIA's earnings because you never know what could happen with the earnings. But even like as soon as tomorrow, if we hold above 503, I could be looking for even more upsides. So just keep that in mind. For Apple, Apple is looking pretty good on very, very nice uptrend right here. Let's see if this could break 230 to start pushing for 232. I think we might try to retest 230 by tomorrow, but then we'll see what it does from there. Netflix hit my target. I was talking about how 870 is most likely coming. We actually broke that. And we're continuing to squeeze. This thing is showing no signs of stopping, so it remains more bullish for now. And we could be on our way up above 880 as our next potential target. Um, for the IWM, I called out 231 as my potential target. We're a little bit under that, so we're getting closer to it. So it still has that same target. We'll see if it gets up there. What else is there? We have Coin. Coin is doing a good job. It dipped a bit only to get bought back up. We're still kind of flat though, despite that. If we, as long as we don't lose 300, and then also this 315 support, I think that the odds do favor us getting back up to 330. We'll have to see if we break out from there. For AMD is kind of flat here. You have the support to watch for all the way down here around this 134 area. So watch to see if we can try to break past 140. I think there is a chance AMD tries to retest 140. If that breaks, we're looking for a bigger move all the way up towards 142.5. But I think we're favoring upside at least for 140 plus on AMD. I also really like the setup. This has been dumping quite a bit. But what's good about AMD is the fact that this is going to be essentially running with Nvidia. So if Nvidia does really well with earnings, this could try to get a bounce, especially as we have these gaps to fill. And if not, it is what it is. But I think there's a good chance we attempt to do that. We might try to run depending on Nvidia's earnings. For Palantir, for those who are interested, we are looking a little bit more bullish right now. I'm going to be looking at this resistance just under 63 or very close to that 63 area. If it gets above that, we could be trying to test the highs again. And if we were to lose support around that 60 area, we're going to be dipping back down for previous resistance becoming support around 56. This looks bullish though. It is favoring that wants to go up to about 63, but it's not super strong. It's only up about 1.8%. On top of that, we have just the big tech ones I'm going to talk about real quick. Amazon's doing a good job at holding up. We got back above 104 or 204, excuse me. That's a good sign. As long as we don't lose 202, I think we favor a little bit more upside for 205 plus. For Meta, we're doing a good job as long as we don't end up losing 556. I think the odds are favoring. We push up for 560, then 564 as our potential targets. I think it's on its way to 560 plus. Microsoft's trying to push here as long as we don't lose 415. I think there's potential for us to go up to about the 419 to 420 area. And then Google has a gap to fill above. So we were talking about this in my second video of the day, how it could be approaching the 180 area. We're very close to 180. I think we might be going all the way up there for a little bit more upside. With that being said, let's see how the market closes. We only have about 20 minutes left. Tesla, looks pretty nice. There is a nice amount of momentum that's building. However, we're going to be watching to see if we could break out of our range. We've been stuck just under like the 350 area, so that's including like 356 to 358, 346 to 348 is our main resistance. So just keep that in mind. Our support's around 330, which is where we keep getting bought back up from. There's a possible inverse head and shoulders. Maybe it could end up panning out. So we could be looking for a big pump over the next few days if this does end up coming. But we'll have to wait and see just for confirmation if Tesla could get back above 350, and then we could break out to 362, 365, and even 370 as potential targets. So we'll see if we could hold above 350 or not over the next couple of days. Just want to give you guys a heads up about this setup. I'll see you guys very soon in my next video. Remember, guys, setups are not always guaranteed. They don't always pan out. So I'm not promising it's going to pan out. You just have to wait for confirmation. And always manage risks if you were to play it, right? You want to set stops and be careful. So I'm just giving you guys a heads up about that. This is not financial advice, but I'll be back in a couple of hours for another update. Thank you for listening, and peace out.